Hello, today we're going to be talking about avian influenza. I'm Jasmine Lopez, and this is going to be part one of two videos talking about this subject. So, the question we're going to be talking about is the possibility of avian influenza virus being transmitted through flies. But before we begin, let's start with some background info on the avian influenza virus, or AIV. Avian influenza virus, or AIV, is an enveloped RNA virus that is typically found in wild aquatic birds. Although many subtypes exist of AIV, where we'll focus on today H5 and H7, which have been seen in low pathogenic strains and high pathogenic strains in poultry, specifically chickens. Exposure to either low pathogenic or high pathogenic strains of H5 and H7 have been shown to have certain health effects, with low pathogenic strains causing mild clinical disease and highly pathogenic strains causing severe systemic disease with high mortality. Usually, AIV is transmitted through the poultry's contact with wild aquatic birds or humans, and recent studies have been trying to see whether or not insects also play a role in its transmission. And that's exactly what this study focused on: the presence of low pathogenic avian influenza in the alimentary tract of the houseflies that were fed various concentrations of subtypes H5N7 and H7N1 viruses and incubated at different temperatures for up to 24 hours. So the study was trying to see whether or not they could extract these low pathogenic strains from houseflies that were fed different concentrations of each virus that were stored in different temperatures and that had been stored in different lengths of time. So the experiment used 1,195 houseflies that were fed different concentrations, stored in different incubation periods, and stored at different temperatures. So each group of 5 flies was fed either H5N7 virus of doses of 10.4.9 ELD50, 10.4.3 ELD50, or 10.3.7 ELD50, or the flies were fed H7N1 doses of 10.5.5 ELD50, 10.4.9 ELD50, or 10.4.3 ELD50. ELD50 signifying the lethal dose that will kill at least 50% of the eggs. Each fed fly was then stored either for 6 hours, 12 hours, or 24 hours at either 15 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Celsius, or 35 degrees Celsius. An additional group was added, which was a group that had zero incubation and had been inoculated at 24 degrees Celsius, room temperature. All houseflies were then killed by freezing at negative 20 degrees Celsius, and were then harvested to obtain the body contents, which include the intestinal organs and body fluids that were collected in an enriched medium in order to obtain samples for each concentration of virus, the temperature they were held in, and the incubation period they were in. These samples were then used to inoculate specific pathogen-free embryonid chicken eggs in order to determine whether or not they would obtain a positive or negative result, with a positive result ending signifying that the virus killed the egg, which is a dead embryo. And this is where we're going to end part one. I'll see you in the next video.